What up, what up? How's everybody doing? Thank you so much. Folks, thank you so much for coming here and being here. This is another episode of the long-form interview series. You see our guest, Mr. Pierre Crypto. He is a really, really smart guy, and he's been in this space for a long time. And we're just continuing the trend of me talking to really smart people, trying to create some alpha, trying to, create a nice conversation that you can follow along and you can learn from, and hear from people who have some experience, some education to share. So that is Pierre. He's at the Haven Crypto. You can check that out. I'll have links to that. That's his group with a whole bunch of other really high quality people. He's on YouTube and all that stuff. So I will have all the links for you. I'm, of course, Big Cheds on Twitter. You can find me on Bitcoin Live, where I'm a founding analyst. I'm proud of that. And, of course, on my YouTube, Cheds Trading. Check out the, by the way, while you're here, check out the Trading Encyclopedia playlist. 3-minute videos designed to teach you professional TA, classical charting, Japanese candlestick theory. I've got a couple hundred videos here for you, so check that out. But let's not delay any further. Let's get right into it, and let's talk to Pierre. All right, and here we are with our next guest, another great guest to continue the series of just really smart people here in this space. We have Pierre here, who's just a longtime market veteran. And I'm just really grateful that, Pierre, that you decided to, take some time and hang out with me and talk about the market. So welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, with pleasure, with pleasure. I've been following you since the old days. I can remember, I think it was 2017, 18, maybe 19. You were streaming a lot with another lad, Chonis.
Yeah.
Was it his name?
Yeah, Chonis. He's my good buddy. I haven't, he's not as active.
Yeah, he's not as active as he used to, but I remember that I used to watch your lives from time to time when I was a no one on CT back in the days. So it's nice to be here today.
Sometimes it's nice to be a no one, though, right?
Oh,
because,
yeah.
Right, people maybe don't expect so much from you.
That's true. But to be honest, personally, CT has been an infinite net positive for me in my life.
Okay.
I'm very happy. I'm happy to be to have a few friends in our small niche that gets smaller and smaller each cycle. It seems.
It does seem that way. So let's go with that a little bit. So it's been really a net big positive for you. Yeah. Do you want to talk about that? How you found your way into crypto and crypto Twitter and all that? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I have a fairly classic history when it comes to the class of 2016, 2018. In the sense that I initially came more from gaming, and I used to know about Bitcoin for a few years before actually getting into it, just thanks to esports, thanks to some tournaments where with Bitcoin cash prize, those kind of thing. There has not been many, but there were legends about it already back in the days. The only one I can remember was the StarCraft Brood War tournament in early 2010s. But basically, I knew about it. And in 2016, 17, it's my older brother who basically educated me on so many things that told me, hey, you should check this out. It's been pumping immensely. And I was hooked, basically. And one thing leading to another, looking as a desperation to what was happening to my bags, I did what many people do. And I searched on the Twitter search bar the hashtag of my underwater bag, and from what I can remember, the first few accounts I stumbled into were I think it was Kobe and Donald maybe, and yeah, I started like this, and then I pivoted from posting about CS to posting about crypto, and one thing leading to another, I ended up making a few friends, and when I say it changed my life, it's because post 2018, when everything went to shit, we had a group of people on CT, a group chat where we were just discussing the market every day. In this group chat, there were people like Krila and Noma, with whom I'm working today. And if it wasn't thanks to this group chat and thanks to all these conversations with some people who had much more experience than me, I would have probably given up a long time ago. And I probably missed a lot of opportunities that has freed me ever since, basically. So, yeah, net positive for me. Just for posting imaginary lines on internet. I mean, that's pretty great.
So it's the power of the community, and it's the power of like a good teacher, right? Like,
Yeah.
so you said Krillin and Loma were some of like inspirations, or just people who you traded with you,
Yeah,
or
not necessarily Loma inspiration for sure, because even in 2017, 18, he was already a couple of years ahead of us in terms of just chatness in the market. And he was maybe 2 years ahead of us back then, and now he's probably two decades ahead of us. But I guess we
yeah,
progress all to the different time. But
yeah,
it was more with people like Krina, for example, in
okay,
the sense that the system we use today, we basically crafted it together, speaking together every day, much more than I was speaking to my ERL friends and sometimes family. But yeah, and yeah, maybe not learning from, but learning with, and probably a combination of both in the end. But yeah, and that's why I always say when I talk about this era, when we talk about the 2016, 17, 18, 19 city, it, people from this era will always talk about it like it was the golden days, but
yeah,
that's what people always do when they talk about the old days. It's always better. It always used to be better on everything. We see probably things on a different lens because of nostalgia and those kind of things. But personally, I know that, yeah, I don't know, it was just different, and it shaped the trader I am today, even if there's been a lot of different milestones ever since. But yeah, it was. I'm sure I would have probably just stopped after losing everything in 2018 and just going back to playing CS basically, if it wasn't for City.
So, like some of the biggest differences, right? For me, back in then it felt like Bitcoin felt more fragile, to me, right? Back in
Yeah.
2017, 2018, and are they going to stop it, right? But now it's just part of the system. It's not as cool anymore. Like, would you want to talk
Yeah.
about some of the differences that jump out to you?
Yeah. I mean, it's indeed, it's obviously less cool. We are not according to James Demon, we are not rat poison anymore.
Yeah,
And
squared,
basically,
rat poison squared.
yeah, and I think it pretty much summarizes the situation pretty well. But I guess it's inevitable. I feel exactly the same way. I told you that I initially came from esports, and I grew up. I saw Justin TV turn into Twitch in 2010 or 11, 12. I can't remember exactly. I saw esport go from we are the turbo nerds of the classroom, and people don't want to speak to us, to now everyone's streaming, everyone play video games.
Yeah.
The same way I feel like my culture of esport and gaming in general, and streaming has been hijacked. It kind of feel the same, and it's been feeling the same like this for me since the beginning of the NFT era. But again, it's kind of inevitable. You cannot hope, you cannot wish for the adoption of a technology or for an industry to grow, or a market to prosper, and at the same time play the grumpy guy whenever it attracts new and more people, and obviously different people than you, probably maybe even less savvy technology or market knowledge. It's inevitable. I kind of feel like everything in crypto is always parabolic, whether it's the price action to the upside, to the downside. And I feel like it's been the same way with how rapidly it turned into a kind of cyberpunk philosophy, into a buy my meme coin because I'm streaming every day, basically.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, maybe it's a phase needed for the next journey, basically, within the industry, and maybe it's a cleaning that was needed. And I would say that the main difference we've had from this cycle to the last one is that at the end of last cycle, when the NFT hype died, it was more of a okay, that was a one-time thing, but like people disregarded NFT, telling themselves, okay, maybe buying a JPEG was brain dead. But this cycle, I feel like, or maybe it's the lens of my own Twitter feed, but I feel like people have been the entire meme coin saga, and particularly the celebs saga, probably has educated retail, and we are retail. Huh? I'm talking about us. Probably has educated retail in a much deeper way, and maybe it's the step needed for the next phase. But I'm an eternal optimist, so maybe that's why. But that feels like the main difference to me.
Are we really that educated? I feel like we just want to chase whatever, whatever's hot, whatever we think we can make, a little money on.
Yeah, you're probably very correct on that. When I say educated, not necessarily, I would say maybe educated is not the good word, but maybe more cynical.
Yeah.
And it comes down not even just to meme coins, but even VC coins, new launches. Maybe it's because we are in bear market vibes, and therefore the people who are left are obviously more cynical. But I kind of feel like this could be the last cycle where extracting was that easy. And maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm naive, but I want to feel that way. I want to feel that if there is anything we come out of this cycle outside of Bitcoin adoption and Bitcoin becoming a bank coin, may it be that, basically.
So for there to be like more extraction, you need like a lot of fresh money coming in. And like what's what's the origin or what's the cause of that? And that's what you need to have the parabolic move. So doesn't it, Pierre, it seems like volatility is kind of slowing down overall for Bitcoin. Do you feel like that? Like it's kind of tightening a little bit?
I don't know about the volatility drying out, because end of the day, we've still seen Bitcoin go from 20 to 120 in a few years.
Yeah.
For example, the last 10 days, we've been in a range, but it's actually a 10% range. Of course, it's very Barty, it's very trappy.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the most ideal conditions, but if not the volatility drying out, I would say that at least the dynamic and the behavior in general has been drastically different and changing rapidly. But again, I can't really tell if it's a fact because I have no data to back it, or it's once again that nostalgic feeling of maybe people said the exact same thing in 2018, beginning of bear market, when they were here since 2013, for example. Maybe and probably drying out a little bit, might get worse as price develops, especially if we have a bottoming process post downtrend, wherever it is, whenever it is. So volatility, I don't know, but at the very least, for sure, the dynamic of the market and the dynamic of Bitcoin itself, the way it moves, the way it moved. But it's been, I mean, undoubtedly different.
It's undoubtedly. Where are the big Ethereum and Litecoin runs? You right? Like
that's pretty much that. It's been hijacked by I believe what changed very much from previous cycles is that we put things in the wrong order. Like people went straight to meme coins. Basically, we had a small AI narrative run end of 2003 or maybe 2022. I think it was end of 2023. It kind of feel like we took things backwards, and obviously, if weakness, in my opinion, played a big role on that. Like, I maybe it's a bit of a boomer foul in the market, but I still think that if being strong is a strong signal for shitcoins to do things, in my opinion. And maybe what we saw this cycle with Solana leading first was more of a Solana culture cycle than a Ethereum culture cycle. And maybe that was just that, basically. But so I don't think I'm saying anything new. I would assume that many people who have been in the market for a couple of cycles probably feel similar than me. And I know it personally because it's the first cycle since I've joined crypto where I've been trading Bitcoin much more than the rest of the market. Like, and I used to be a big shitcoiner and mostly just trading shitcoins. This cycle, and at least since mid 2024, I can't remember. I have not been trading shitcoins that much. And
what about Zcash? Did you play that big run up on Zcash or
I caught the end of the moves. I was late to it. I was delusional to it. I think I started trading it when it reached 160 or something like this, 160, 200. And then it was just, it felt, it's an interesting example because the way Zcash pumped and the way it trended felt really like an old school kind of move. Like, like respecting every trend, consolidating, coming for key retests, respecting things, sending order. It kind of felt like, oh, we used to trade post 2020, for example. But I was a little bit late to it. I still managed to catch a good move off of it, but I'm not necessarily the happiest I could have done off of it, I believe.
It's fun. It's been like a rare exception, right? Because like you said, it's just been not a great altcoin market. Not that many, even the top of my mind, like altcoins that are worth even talking about. You know, like Link started to bounce, and then it just, you know, a bunch of stuff like started, and then it just never really could get back off the mat. And you know, a lot of people are still holding and waiting for, when's it my turn? When is it my altcoin turn? And it just hasn't come, you know?
And Link is once again a good example of that, because Link did this classical thing of post-bull market bottoming for 2 years in the same range or something like this. I think it was 2022. I'm looking at it right now, 2022, 2023. When in a other cycle, something that has okay fundamentals, that has a strong community, starts exceeding such long period of ranging, you could expect from it to see at least a retest of the all-time high, and at least. But it hasn't happened, and just much more coins on circulation overall, and people just focused more on the attention cycle rather than fundamentals. And maybe that's also a leftover of how abruptly projects that seemed to be solid at the end of last cycle crashed. Maybe people saw Luna going down at the end of last cycle. Maybe they saw Polkadot, Cosmos never managing to recover, and they just said, okay, I'm gonna play what's hot, and I'm gonna stay here for the money and not pretend that I'm buying revolutionary tech, basically. So
let's see. So you know, it's kind of depressing. I'm not gonna lie, right?
It is, but it is, and I think it's a good testimony of the overall feeling I feel when I am on CT these days. But again, like what it kind of felt inevitable at some point. We've been saying for years that most of these shitcoins have too high emissions, that at some point gonna hit the market, that they have big épée Damocles on top of their heads, with teams having lots of funds to unload. We knew that at some point we would get something like this, but but still depressing. And CT feels as miserable as it felt 2 days after FTX went down. And maybe I'm over exaggerating. And once again, the lens of what we see on social media versus how it was actually, it's obviously vastly different. But it feels like this when I'm opening CT, to be honest.
Yeah, it's and then we don't even know, like, people reply to us. We don't even know if it's a human anymore.
You can't even see it. Yeah, I think also this has played a big role, obviously. Like, I didn't even think about it when I was speaking about that, but for sure, the mix of bots plus projects like Kato and those kind of things where you farm engagement, I think has done big damages to how content has been delivered on CT, and why many people who used to post great things all the time, outside of becoming turbo rich and maybe they don't care anymore, I've stopped posting much more than they used to do, to be honest. And they are still very active in group chats. You can see them in Discord. They are still very much active many of them are still very much active on the market. But as you said, why bother posting on X when half of the answers you cannot tell is a human or not? There is just no. It's just different. But it's a common thing across the internet, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you go on YouTube, you will have a dozen of comments every videos that are obviously not humans. So it's not just a city disease, I would say, but it obviously played a role.
It's the incentives, right? Like, you're getting paid for tweets. So now people tweet for volume, and then so you've got that. And it used to be you could really have cool interactions with people. You make friends. There's real alpha, but I don't like, sometimes I don't even want to look at my replies because I don't want to get caught talking to a bot and then I feel stupid.
Yeah, it's too dystopic for it to happen right now. But I feel the same. I feel the same. Surprisingly, though, during this cycle, I've still managed to find a few very interesting accounts and a few people who are still posting interesting things. So there is a glimpse of hope, and you can have interactions with them, etc. But I also realized that when you start engaging with these people, may as well just send a DM and talk in DM. More than anything else, basically.
So the real alpha is in the chats, right? The real alpha is in Discord and group chats.
I kind of feel like it has always been the case. And as I told you at the beginning, it's off of a group chat that was made by Tunes back in 2019 that I've met people I work today and that I've become the trader that I am today. So it probably has always been the case, but I kind of feel like it's even more true now than ever. And unfortunately, I'm not in that much group chats. But it kind of feels like it. It kind of feels like it.
So Pierre, what's the Haven, right? I've heard you guys talk about it. You want to talk about the Haven a little bit?
Oh yeah, it's what we will call a paid group on CT. We fold the bad, we fold the potentially exactly. Well, at the end of the day, it's a trading educational group. It's a Discord that we built with UB, Loma, and Krillin. I think it was in 2021, post-COVID. And ever since we added 2 new analysts / trader, we have trader main and CBS that are with us. And it's a place where the 6 of us posts, depending of each of our system, each of our approaches. For example, I post the ratio of analysis to trades for me is probably more of a 80-20, while for someone like CBS or main, it's going to be the opposite. Loma is probably going to be only 100% trades. So there is whatever people can look for. The way I describe it most often than not is a accelerator of your progress. If you're someone that looks for a place with a community and to speedrun their progress, or at least have mistakes putting out in front of their face that they can't ignore anymore. And then if you want to progress, that's your job. But that's the way I see it. I know that paid groups in general have any kind of paid subscriptions have a bad rep on CT, which is funny because a majority of them are still being paid by exchanges to put their ref links. But I don't care. I don't care anymore, and I'm proud of what we've been building. We have different offers with an access just to the educational library. You can have access to a free weekly content. Many things. So there is many things for different people, different systems, and it works great. People are happy. I'm very happy to work there and to have built that. And I hope we just keep going. We have an exciting 2026 ahead of us. And as long as our things are moving, no matter the direction, end of the day, we are happy. We have things to trade and discuss.
Excellent. Yeah, the power of a team, right? Like everybody does something a little bit different.
Yeah, very, very much. I know that some people have similar kind of offers and they are alone or maybe a small team. I couldn't see myself do that. Like it's always been the main idea and why we decided to launch that with the 4 of us initially a few years ago. And the additions of CVS and main through the years have been incredible because both of them are incredible traders. Like CVS is just another level. And again, different kind of content that we are pushing. For example, as I said, I like to discuss markets and post analysis. I feel more comfortable with that than signals or just trades. So I do that more than the rest. But yeah, it's that's why I believe it's a good mix of a lot of things.
So I've always admired your technical analysis. It's clean. How did you start doing TA? What can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, probably like a lot of people, you start buying things, then you open the charts, things move, and you stay glued to the charts, and eventually, by the time you spend time watching at the chart, you start noticing patterns. And I think I did a very classic. I've had a very classic journey in the sense that I've started by trying many things, that I was probably not even understanding, that I probably still don't understand today.
Yeah.
Only to get back to using imaginary lines, like moving averages, I call them that way, and simple horizontal levels. But basically, the main realization for me was that, probably like a lot of people, I was very good at buying.
Yeah.
But I was terrible at selling, which led me in post 2018, at the end of the last leg of XRP in January 2018, to just, when I felt like a genius, obviously the classic Dunning-Kruger, I lost everything, basically, or almost everything. I had to start over. And I realized that I needed to keep things more simple, that I needed to get back to basics, and that I needed something. That I realized two things: that I was not a genius, that I was not necessarily a talented trader neither. I'm probably more of the mid-curve traders. I'm perfectly fine with it. Knowing it is a strength. And that I needed to have a system simple, that I could not second think or doubt, basically. And that when the system, and basically turn the what ifs into most often. So yeah, that's how I started doing that. Then I realized people were enjoying my analysis. And yeah, often the technical analysis I'm going to share on CT is pretty packed with information, obviously, but that's because I always do it with an educational mind. Basically, I post on CT like I post in the oven, basically. So it's often packed with information. I could probably get rid of 90% of the lines I have on my charts that I share to execute trades, I mean. But yeah, that's how I ended up doing that, just posting on CT and getting feedbacks, learning from it, adjusting the system, and understanding, most importantly, that I'm not predicting shit. I'm just highlighting places that I cannot doubt, that when they're lost or reclaimed, I need to execute, basically.
So I want to bring up your screen, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And you mentioned a couple things I want to talk about. You mentioned like a system, but like, do you want to just go from here and tell us, what you got?
Yeah, for sure. So as I said, I primarily use just simple horizontal levels when I trade. When I say I came back to basics, basically, I realized that I didn't need it to have 1,000 things on my charts. I was just not smart enough to understand half of it. So I just ditched everything just to keep horizontal lines, what I consider to be support and resistances, red boxes for the resistance, green boxes for the support. Again, that's the educational mind speaking. And what I realized also is that, as someone that is good at buying and bad at selling, I should probably just stick to a trending approach and try to. I will almost never be able to sell pico tops and buy pico bottoms. But if I can find something that helps me identifying a beginning of a trend, end of a trend, and I can set a couple set of rules to execute off of it, then that should do the job. And it's basically what I have on the chart. So what I consider to be the trend is just a simple combination of 3 exponential moving averages, which is basically 10 to 30. Could be anything, could be 10, 12, I don't care. At the end of the day, it's not the exact value that matters, it's more what it tells as a story. And after the years playing with it, I realized that we could play with a couple of more moving averages to have a small library of kind of setups that I can chase, which can be like on the chart right now. We can see that I have this gap circled over here. It basically means that if I have the combination of a break of the daily downtrend, so we are below the trend, plus a reclaim of a key horizontal level, in that case, that would be yearly open, then I feel like we could have a potential to fill that gap. And when I call the gap, it's basically the distance that we have between the trend and bigger moving averages, which tend to be the moving averages that most people are going to watch. So that's the classical 200 EMA, 100 EMA, 300 EMA. And I'm always looking for the confluence of these moving averages with key horizontal levels. Again, to keep in mind that my main goal is when I have a setup, particularly if it's a swing, and I want to make sure that when we get to my exit strategy, whether it's a stop or whether it's a target, it's a take profit, I cannot doubt it. And that's why I'm looking for confluences of trend plus horizontal levels, because it's enough argument for my monkey brain to respect it, basically. So yeah, I would say it seems complicated sometimes for people, because again, I have many things written on the charts, but again, I do so because I want to highlight what I'm thinking just by writing it on the chart for people who are following me. But end of the day, it's a very simple combination of moving averages to have an understanding of the overall trend, and then focusing on what are the main horizontal levels, basically. And end of the day, that's about it. And I would add also one thing is that the more I trade, and maybe it's just a natural path of a trader, obviously, but the more I trade, the less I have strict rules, and the more I have, not necessarily in terms of execution for the strict rules, but I will not be blindly taking setups, even if the system says it sometimes, and sometimes like a little bit of gut feeling. And I would say that when you're trading trends, it's required a little bit also. And technical analysis alone, personally, I don't think it's going to get you very far. But if you use technical analysis for risk management, or at least understanding a little bit the context of the charts, in combination with a little bit of gut feeling, plus a combination with understanding the environment you're trading, the context you're trading. Are you trading in a week? Like, for example, we have FOMC. If you're trading a move and it's pre-FOMC, maybe you're going to be more inclined to pay yourself aggressively compared to another week. I don't know. I'm saying examples, but you see what I mean. So I think it's one part of a bigger palette of skills you need to acquire through time. I know obviously people who are trading just by watching the charts, and I know some people who are trading without even watching the charts.
How do you do that?
They just watch price. They know in mind. It's mostly news driven. When I say don't watch chart, I mean don't do technical analysis. Obviously, they're gonna watch the charts.
Yeah,
they're just not going blindly. But what I mean is that pure naked chart, just feeling of okay. Today, like it's to me, when I said earlier that I consider myself to be a mid-curve trader, and what I mean by that is that I do not consider myself as a talented trader. And when I say that, I mean that I'm going to take Loma as an example. He obviously has a system. He is doing a little bit of technical analysis, etc. But he most importantly, he has a gut feeling. Like sometimes he's gonna pops in the Discord and you're gonna say, okay, that's it, that's enough. I can't like we are bound to bounce around these places, or that's enough of a nonsense. We're gonna retrace a little bit, and most often than not, he's on point. And maybe he has hidden secret and hidden alpha that even after 7 years he hasn't shared with us. But yeah, what I'm just trying to say is that technical analysis is not everything, but I do believe it helps. And I do also believe that it's a great way to get into trading, and it's a good way to print patterns in your mind. And then if you think that you can dig more and go into looking for more data, then do your own thing. But yeah, it helped me, and it still is helping me immensely.
That gut feeling is critical. And it only comes from muscle memory of watching a chart. Like you can't just bounce around and
Yeah.
you have it. You have to build it up, and that's really smart of you. Where's your RSI, man? Where's your MACD? And there it is.
I have stock RSI, but stock RSI to me, what I always say is that in order of priority,
Yeah.
the indicators I use and the confluence I'm looking for is horizontal level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm obviously gonna be unable to type, but horizontal levels, 2 trends, and 3 stock RSI for momentum. So I'm mostly focusing on stock RSI when I'm riding a trend, when I'm trying to understand if a retest of the trend is a reset in momentum or not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. I said it's third, but to be a visual recognition of the importance for me, that would probably look more like this, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
But for example, I don't trade divs and those kind of things. Again, I'm mostly an idiot, so I don't trade divs, etc. I know a lot of people who use them very efficiently, but I do not. And I think what I just said also is important. I said that I know a lot of people who use them efficiently. I believe also there is something important about technical analysis, is that end of the day, if you use the moon cycles to take trades and you're profitable through time, I don't care how you do it.
Yeah.
I don't, just do it. Like, if it works for you, that's fine. If you feel like, I don't care, maybe in my mind it has nothing repeatable and I don't understand it, but if it works for you, just do it. So, because I don't know if you remember, but a few years ago in CT, there was always a big war about what system people use. There was the very classic ICT system everyone was using. Then you had the fight about mocking averages, crosses, or mocking Elliott waves, or I don't care. But again, I know some people who just trade and with moon cycles unironically, and somehow they make money. So if that works for them, just keep doing what works for you. That's it.
That's a good point. I think there's no one magic style. You have to find the style that works best for you.
Yeah, the style, the time frame. You have to accept. You have to accept that you're not necessarily a godlike scalper. That not everyone can trade the 5-minute time frame repeatedly, making money. You need also to accept maybe that people who have been holding things for 10 years were not lucky. Maybe it's an incredible skill to be able to hold things for longer. If that's the case, if you're not prone to drawdowns, maybe swinging is not for you. Maybe you're more inclined to scalp and sleep well at night, closing things before going to bed.
Yeah.
You need to trade. In any cases, everything that we are discussing now, whether it's technical analysis, gut feeling, what works for you, there is no shortcuts. There is no shortcuts. And you're gonna have to trade, and you're gonna have to get your hands dirty, and you're gonna have to climb that Dunning-Kruger charts if you want to learn stuff. It's inevitable, but I guess it's like anything in life, isn't it? But there is no shortcut. It's just I don't know anyone in trading that has just speed run process too rapidly. I mean, like, obviously, again, you have talented people who will for who it's gonna click very rapidly, etc. But for the mid curve traders like me, and statistically, therefore, like a majority of people, there is no shortcut. You're gonna have to trade and find what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and it's hard. It's not easy. Trading is fucking hard. If it was easy, everyone would just be clicking buttons on their phones everywhere, which is not the case. Not everyone is Nancy Pelosi.
That's right. It's easy to buy, but it's not as easy to sell, is the point you made, and that's so true.
Yeah.
So what's I'm interested more about your style. So, like, what's the lowest time frame that you're going to go generally?
The lowest I would go would be, these are the main time frame I'm using, and the lowest I would go would be 15 minutes. And
15, okay.
What's important also, I am a much better like H4 to daily, weekly time frame trader.
Yes.
Than a lower time frame trader. I've been working on my scalping for the past 3 years now, trying to see how I could improve what I was doing wrong, etc. It's gotten better, but I still do so on vastly reduced size, and I only do so when I don't like. For example, we are in a daily downtrend. Unless you catch daily downtrends retest for big trades, which happen a couple of times every few weeks, there is still a lapse of time in between there where there is movement in the market. If I want to stay active in the market, I'm gonna be scalping. I'm gonna go into the H1 50 minute whatever. But when I do so, I tend to do so on vastly reduced risk, separated accounts. I just know that I cannot treat my scalping the same way, risk-wise. I mean, the same way I'm gonna treat bigger trades. But yeah, so 15 minute would be the lowest. Weekly would be the highest. But it's been ages that I've not executed a trade off of a weekly analysis, basically.
Right.
It's mostly H4 and daily. Weekly, maybe more for context.
Yeah.
But H4 and daily for execution most of the time.
So you trade on the 4-hour daily, but you know what the weekly is doing, right? You're understanding the larger time frame.
Yeah, especially the weekly trend on Bitcoin, which historically has been a fairly good indicator of where we stand in the cycle. It's not perfect. Once again, it's just imaginary lines on the chart, but it's a good way it's been a good way to gauge where we are in the trend, basically. But yeah, much more for context and to keep an eye on how much we've achieved, for example, or how much we've retraced. But yeah, in terms of execution, that would be mostly probably 80% H4 daily, and in that 80% of H4 daily, probably 80% again of H4. So maybe the stats are not good, but
yeah. Why is the 4-hour such a good time frame? I found that it's very, very good to get the twists and turns of Bitcoin.
I kind of feel like, I don't know. I never thought about it too much, but I would say it's probably based. I don't know. I didn't think about it too much, but I guess it's slow enough that moves that are being made are significant and gonna translate on the daily, which is a fairly big time frame, and quick enough that intraday you can take decisions. So it's a good combination of both. But yeah, I never thought about it that much. All I know is, but yeah, and maybe I'm wrong, but I would assume probably that the H4 is probably one of the most popular time frame across the board.
So let's see. So what is that moving average here? Is that 200 EMA? That the price?
The black one is the 200 EMA. The green dotted one, I'm gonna zoom a little bit. The green dotted one is the 100 EMA, and this one is the 300 EMA.
Okay.
These are the longer period moving averages that I'm using. And then the 3 below are the trend. Maybe I actually have if I click on it somewhere, you can see the data. But again, if, for example, it's 13, 25, 30, I would have the exact same results. Trading wise, it wouldn't change anything if I change by 10 and 30, maybe even 8 and 32. I don't care. These values are just relica of the old days trading against bot on UOB 2019, 2020. But yeah, it's I guess it's pretty common moving averages. The main difference I would say for me compared to more people using moving averages is that I don't care much about crosses and those kind of things. I'm much more focused on the distance that we have between the trend and the main moving averages. I treat it as a signal of how extended the move is and how much I can capture when those trends flip. Because, for example, when we're gonna have a trend break after a long period of trending, if I trade the break of the trend, my main targets are gonna be retesting the 100 MA, 200 MA, etc. So the bigger the gaps, the bigger my appetite to trade the break of the trend, and it's pretty much what I was saying earlier for the daily. We still have a big gap between the daily and the rest of the moving averages. We have nice horizontal, so I'm probably going to be very inclined to chase a potential breakout if/when. So I don't trade crosses. I mostly trade structure. Like are the main moving averages compressing like at the end of last year? Are we above all of it? Is the trend defended above it?
Yeah.
How big are the gaps? Is it interesting to chase these gaps, or at the opposite, it's very compressed? Maybe I should get ready to trade, but not necessarily position myself too early. So it's much more of a structure kind of things more than crosses and those kind of things. So maybe it's a more proactive way of trading moving averages than some people have in mind when they think about depth crosses and those kind of things, which probably work fine for some people, but not necessarily something that I care about too much.
So looking at the way you have it displayed, it's pretty clear the trend's rolled over.
Yeah.
Right?
The big signal that for me, the big signal that the trend has rolled over is that, as I said, you get big trendy behavior, then the main moving average is compressed while we reset.
Yeah.
And basically, for the entire period of the uptrend and the bull run, you have a couple of fake outs, but inevitably that's going to happen. Whether you use horizontal levels or whatever, you're going to have fake outs.
Yeah.
But at the opposite, this time, we broke the structure to the way down, flip daily trend resistance.
Yeah.
It's been acting resistance ever since. If it was 2022, I would be 100% convinced that there is no other outcome than retracing further. As we discussed earlier, with vastly different dynamics than previous cycles, and we've seen it the way Bitcoin move, sudden moves into consolidation. I have maybe less of a strong opinion on it, and maybe more of a reactive approach than I could have had. But yeah, trend-wise, EMA-wise, it's undoubtedly that we have had a significant break of structure. Even if we don't think about moving averages, like if we just draw that box over here, it's pretty significant horizontal level, flip support, was support up until October, lost it, retested it, flipped it resistance. Psychological 100K number.
Yeah.
There are going to be a lot of things to fix before being higher time frame optimistic for me.
So do you think we're going to get are you leaning towards a bounce and underside retest here of 9900K, or not sure?
I would, if/when we manage to break the daily downtrend. For me, breaking a trend is when we close the daily above, and on lower time frame we flip the 200 EMA. That's the two triggers for me to consider the trend to be broken, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. If/when I would be more than inclined to expect that. It's when above where for me, and 100. That would be my main scenario. As long as we are in between those two boxes, I'm fairly neutral in terms of short-term / next couple of weeks price action. But if we do get the confluence of a break of the daily downtrend plus yearly open reclaimed, I could see ourselves give a one URA move to retest the 100K, maybe for the end of the year, early next year.
Yeah.
Enough excitement to get everyone excited, and most importantly, that retest would also be very telling. Like we said a couple of minutes ago, if we draw that level, if we were to come for a retest of that level, whether it's reclaimed, flip support once again or not, would also give us a lot of answers, and we don't have to do it. Obviously, we could just very much keep the downtrend going 100%. And actually, the main conclusion until it's broken is that it's going to continue, obviously. But yeah, that retest would give us a lot of answers. I don't know if we're going to get it. If I get the triggers to see it, I'm 100% going to trade it. But until I get my conditions, I'm scalping intraday, trying to not lose my mind too much, and that's it. But yeah, that would short term. The two main scenarios for me, the two ones that are the most obvious to me, are daily downtrend continuation until proven otherwise, or retest of the 100K if/when daily downtrend is flipped.
Can you pull up weekly for me? I'd love to have you give me a weekly view, and let's say it is top and cycle top or whatever.
Yeah.
Where do you think we could go? It's really hard, obviously, to guess. But
I think I did a chart yesterday in the Haven, probably something like this. it's way too easy to think it that way. It's just a fractal, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't have to repeat. But EMA wise, in terms of structure, at least, if we would get something like this, I would not be too surprised, where we consolidate a little bit more between 100 MA and the weekly trend, like we did in March 2022, into weekly 200 MA retest, which once again, I believe is one of the main moving averages watched by a lot of market participants, even the ones who don't use moving averages. You can make sure that if/when Bitcoin retest weekly 200 MA, it's going to make headlines, because historically it's been a very respected, maybe if I put the Bitstamp chart, it's going to be a little bit clearer, but historically it's been a fairly well respected moving average. Through cycles. Every time we got there, it was some sort of a local bottom, a little bit less last one, but so I would not be too shocked if downtrend continuation ends up by delivering a weekly 200 MA retest and we end up shopping around it. But again, it's all of that. I always find it interesting, obviously, to discuss potential outcomes, and we do that all the time, because otherwise we would lose we would have nothing else to do. But I know 100% that I can't predict as many scenarios as I know. End of the day, for me, it's always gonna be well above where. I don't know where I'm gonna be buying back. I don't know if it's gonna be higher than I sold. I don't know if it's gonna be lower. But I know when, and when would be at least when daily is above daily trend, basically. I'm too dumb to predict where and then stick to it. I could very well say Bitcoin is going to 67K, it's going to be a weekly 200 MA retest. But what are the odds that if/when it happens, I actually trigger? I don't know, to be honest. So I stick to that. It's a good enough rule for me to stick to it. I try to, at least. But yeah, it's the main idea for me. So that fractal would not surprise me too much, with a potential bottom in the early Q4 2026. It would be poetic if bottom of potential bear market or continuation of bear market would happen on a October 10 for the sake of the biggest liquidation event that we've had. That would be poetic.
That would be.
But yeah, the main outlook for me would be basically something like this. It's either we manage to reclaim daily trend and actually we get a weird kind of pattern of longer consolidation, but at the highs. Other, we have a very classical weekly downtrend into weekly 200 MA retest and a period of reset, basically. And pray that in this entire box, Sailor doesn't end up in jail, basically.
But
yeah, basically that.
It's funny. Every cycle, somebody goes to jail, right? Somebody big. Okay. All right. And you made a good point. It's so hard to, like, you could say that it's going, to 200 MA, but it's hard. Like you said, it's hard to pull the trigger when it gets there, because you get caught up in the moment, right? You get emotional, and it's hard to keep our emotions in check. That's such a big challenge.
Yeah, it is. And end of the day, trading is all about that. Like we can draw as many imaginary lines as we want. We can discuss as many scenarios as we want. You can tell yourself the same way people tell themselves, I'm buying spot because I can't be liquidated and I'm gonna sell in 10 years. But then they are in 40% drawdown and they end up selling, and then it was a local bottom, the revenge trading, yada yada. The same way you can tell that to yourself, most often than not, it does not constitute a strong enough plan for your, again, it's not an insult, I consider myself in it, but for your mid-curve brain to process it and execute it well. It works well for many people. Many people have managed to do it over the years, but it's not easy. Do not equate having a plan and executing it because I have a plan, it's going to be easy, or because I cannot be liquidated, nothing can happen to me, etc., etc. People who bought Luna spots never got liquidated, and they still don't have money anymore. So,
all right. So, Pierre, thank you so much. It's been great talking with you. Before we go, though, I have to ask you about The beer market must go on. I see you skiing and posting a lot of pictures of beer. What's that all about, brother?
It's the best season. It's the ski season. It started a month ago now in France, at least where I'm skiing. So it's the best season. It's touching snow instead of touching grass. We've had a blessed early ski season with a lot of snow in the Alps. It's been less over the past few weeks, but the beginning of the season was great. And yeah, just the other thing outside of trading that I love the most in life, it's skiing. So it's a good season to be in.
It's nice to have like a hobby or something to round things out. And I follow you, obviously I follow you. I like to see those pictures. It's nice to see people when they do things to remind us that we're human and we can still go outside and we can still interact, with the world.
Clicking, I mean, not it's end of the day. It gives a reason to click on buttons.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a good. I mean, it's the mountain, it's the Alps. It works. You just spend the days with the mates doing nonsense on the skis, and there is a big culture of après ski in Europe, which I guess is just our culture of just be enjoying things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not just about skiing. That's all the good restaurants, the melted cheese, the wine, the good beers. When the skiing ends, it's a complete vibe. It's a complete vibe. It's a good season. It's cold outside. You're happy to get inside. You eat good food. The beer, it's different. Like it's nice. It's one of the reasons to stay in France, basically.
That's awesome, man. I'm happy to see it, brother.
Yeah.
So, anything you want to leave us with? I'll put all the links, to your stuff, your YouTube, The Haven.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to talk about we didn't mention, or?
No, not necessarily. Just thank you for having me again. I can remember my early days on CT and watching your chat, watching your live stream with Jonis. So it's a like the circle is complete. I have now been part of one of your streams. So yeah, thank you very much for having me. I had a great time. Great timing to do a show like this with those kind of conditions. So yeah, that was very great. And yeah, just thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Pierre. You're very generous with your time, and just thank you for sharing with us. And it's just great to have you, man.
With pleasure.
All right, brother.
All right.
Thank you
so much.
Goodbye,
everyone. Cheers.
Goodbye. Cheers. All right. We did it. What did you folks think? I thought that was a lot of fun. Pierre's great. It was really nice of him to spend some time with us and to tell us about his methodology. I just like to hear from people with different trading styles, than me. You may think that I'm doing this all for you folks, but I learn a lot, honestly. With every single one of these long form interviews. So I hope you folks enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts are, who you want to see next, as always, and check out the rest of the interviews. This will be in the long form interview series here on my YouTube at Ched's Trading. You can see I started recently. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 now, just in the last few months, or last like 4 or 5 months. So check out all the recent ones. Check out the Trading Encyclopedia on my YouTube. Check out Mr. Pierre, The Haven. Check out all his stuff. I'll have those links for you. And of course, I'm on Twitter at Big Cheds, Bitcoin Live as a founding analyst. So folks, thank you so much. And I will talk to you soon. All right. Big Cheds out.